So I'm going to read from this gardening book from, what's the Reader's Digest Complete Book of the Garden from 1966. So I left off over here on begonia. Get this on the side. Get some tea really quick. So, begonia. This important genus of plants includes hundreds of kinds that are suitable for cultivating indoors. They are classified as tuberous and non-tuberous according to whether or not they possess a bulb-like tuber and are completely dormant in winter, or whether they have no tubers and are evergreen. The non-tuberous group includes some that have thick prostrate horizontal stems or rhizomes resembling those of bearded iris. These are called rhizomatous begonias, and they include the Begonia rex cultorum, varieties notable for their magnificently colored foliage. Most of the begonias are fairly easy to grow, provided they are given a soil that contains an abundance of decayed organic matter, leaf mold, humus, or peat moss, which is porous. My dog is snoring, by the way, so just in case you heard that. Night temperatures should be about 55 degrees to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. From fall through spring, the atmosphere should not become excessively dry. Too dry air sudden drops in temperature, and drafts are likely to cause serious leaf dropping, except for tuberous kinds during their season of dormancy. The soil of all begonias should be kept always reasonably moist, but none will long stand a saturated, stagnant soil. Free drainage is important. They respond to mild fertilization after their pots are well filled with roots, but the application of excessively strong fertilizer solutions can soon bring disaster. The wax begonia and its varieties thrive in full sun. However, all others need some shade from strong summer sun, but not dense shade. In winter, all benefit from exposure to maximum light. Tuberous begonias may be raised from seed, but are more usually grown from purchased tubers. These are planted in late winter or early spring and started into growth in a humid atmosphere in a temperature of 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. As growth develops, they are successively transplanted to larger pots. They thrive best where summer nights are fairly cool, and they are excellent for the decoration of shaded porches. Before fall frost, they are gradually dried off and the tubers are stored in dry sand or peat moss at about 55 degrees Fahrenheit over winter. B. rex cultorum varieties may also be raised from seed, but are often grown from leaf cuttings, which root easily and soon produce young plants. Varieties of this group need a more humid atmosphere than most and are best accommodated in a terrarium. Of other kinds of begonias, almost all are usually propagated from cuttings, except the wax begonias, which are most often raised from seed. Begonia seeds are extremely small and are sown on the surface of finely sifted soil that contain an abundance of humus. No, humus? Is that humus or hummus? Looks like hummus. Or peat moss, and are merely pressed into the surface, probably humus, into the surface without being covered with soil. The growth habits of different kinds of begonias vary tremendously. With many, it is desirable to pinch the shoots occasionally to induce branching. Many need careful attention to staking and trying to afford the shoots needed support. Beloperon guttata, shrimp plant. Under favorable conditions, this plant blooms almost continuously. Its common name derives from the cluster of bracts that are colored and shaped like shrimps. These surround the lower parts of the white flowers and form the conspicuous parts of the dense flower spikes. The shrimp plant prospers in any good potting soil in a temperature of about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. It needs good light and an atmosphere that is not too dry. Unless its shoots are pinched regularly, it tends to develop into a straggly, unkempt-looking specimen. Staking is usually necessary. Specimens that have filled their containers with roots should be fed with dilute liquid fertilizer. This species is very subject to infestations of red spider mites. Bilbergia nutans. All kinds of Bilbergia require the same care and are excellent bromeliads for the house. Bilbergia nutans form dense clusters of rosettes of narrow, erect, stiff silver bronze leaves. From the center of each rosette is produced an arching flower stem furnished with rose-pink bracts and bearing nodding flowers that have violet-edged green petals. The flowers remain exotically attractive for long periods. Like all members of the pineapple family, this needs a soil containing an abundance of organic matter and a coarse soil so that water and air percolate freely through it. Grow in full sun or very light shade, and water moderately. Keep the cup formed by the bases of the leaves filled. Temperatures of 60 degrees to 70 degrees Fahrenheit are appropriate. Bloodleaf, C. iracine. Calamondin, C. citrus mitis. Calathea macoyana. Of the many kinds of these tropical foliage plants, this one is sometimes cultivated in terrariums and bottle gardens. It requires the same culture as Maranta. Calthea macoyana has rosettes of paddle-shaped leaves and prettily patterned in light green and olive green and red on their undersides. Cape jasmine, C. gardenia. Capsicum frutescens, Christmas pepper. Grown for their attractive red, purple, or cream-colored fruits. Remarks and culture as for Solanum pseudocapsicum, Jerusalem cherry. Chlorophytum comosum picturantum, spider plant. An easy and popular variety, it grows as a dense cluster of narrow, gracefully arching leaves, each having a cream stripe down the center. It will grow almost anywhere in the home, but requires plenty of water. The plant should be repotted when the tubers begin to push it up out of its pot. When this plant is mature in a 5-inch pot, it will produce what appears to be flower stems with little clusters of leaves at the ends, making an attractive hanging plant. These are the young plants which may be used for increasing stock. Peg them down into small pots of soil, as for the runners of a strawberry plant, and wait until they root before cutting the stem joined to the parent plant. Keep the soil in the small pots fairly dry until the young plants have rooted. Several other varieties of chlorophyton differ chiefly in the patterns of their leaf variegations. All are easy. Christmas pepper, C. capsicum, cinerario, C. senecio, senecio, Cissus antarctica, kangaroo vine, is an easy plant, popular for its climbing habit. The stems will readily attach themselves to trellis, cane, or string supports by means of tendrils, and have been known to reach a length of 40 feet or more. The dark green leaves are 2 to 3 inches long and 1 to 1.5 inches wide, with serrated edges similar to an oak leaf. It tolerates almost any condition except cold below 45 degrees Fahrenheit, and prefers a semi-shaded place and liberal watering in summer, with more light and less water in winter. Regular feeding in spring and summer promotes growth and keeps the foliage a healthy green. C. rhombifolia, grape ivy, is an undemanding, bushy, vigorous climber or trailer, which grows best up trellis or framework of strings. It produces many climbing stems from which spring the leaf stalks, each with 3 leaflets on individual stalks. The deep green leaves are nearly rhomboidal in shape, with toothed edges, and are about 2.5 to 3 inches long and 2 inches wide. The growing tips are covered by a fine silvery down, which becomes brown a little beyond before it disappears. An ideal plant for cool, shady places in summer. It prefers some warmth in the winter. The leaves will turn pale or yellow in strong light. Keep the soil just moist, but take care not to overwater in winter. Pinching back the growing tips will make the plant bushy and improve its shape. It benefits from regular feeding during the summer months. It's hard to see what that actually says because the page is torn. Oh, it's probably citrus. Okay. Several kinds of citrus are useful houseplants. They need sunny location, ordinary well-drained soil watered often enough to keep it moderately moist, and after their pots are well filled with roots, applications of dilute liquid fertilizer at bi-weekly intervals from spring through fall. Their night temperature should be about 50 degrees Fahrenheit in winter and a few degrees warmer during the day, and they benefit from being put outdoors in summer. Plants can be raised from seeds of oranges, lemons, and grapefruits, but such plants rarely, if ever, reach fruiting size under house conditions. It is better to grow dwarf varieties, which are known to fruit when small, and which have been propagated from cuttings. From the best of these are described below. Citrus limonia ponderosa, a large fruited lemon, has fruit that is excellent for pies. C. Mayeri is nearly thornless hybrid between the lemon and the sweet orange. It has attractive, fragrant, lavender-tinged white flowers and acid edible fruit. C. Mytis calamondin is spineless with small white, fragrant flowers and loose-skinned, edible, acid, orange-colored fruits. C. taitensis, otahate orange, has waxy white flowers tinged pink and tiny oranges that are acid-flavored. Cotiaeum croton. These plants, always referred to as crotons, are usually regarded as hothouse plants, but they will last for a considerable time in a warm room, planted in a bowl or in a planter as part of a mixed arrangement. They receive the humidity they require and have been known to remain in good condition for more than 2 years. This colorful and beautiful group includes numerous varieties, leaf shapes, and color combinations. Leaf shapes range from long, narrow, and curling, corkscrew varieties to wider and irregularly pointed oak leaf varieties, and elongated and oval broadleaf varieties. Colors range from bright yellow and green through red and green, red and pink, orange and red, to almost black, orange, and red. The midrib and side veins determine the pattern in some varieties, but other intricate patterns have no regular form. All require warmth, humidity, and good light, but not direct, strong sunlight. Keep evenly moist at all times and provide a minimum temperature of 60 degrees Fahrenheit in winter. Feed during the growing season. There's this picture here of Coheum crota. Okay, so that was the one that I just read. Coleus. There are many named varieties of these quick-growing plants, and seedlings produce a great variety of different leaf patterns and colors: red, bronze, brown, yellow, cream, and shades of green. Plants sometimes bear spikes of small blue-purple flowers, but the chief attraction is their beautiful foliage. Coleuses are easily raised from seed or cuttings, and they thrive in any ordinary potting soil. They are sun lovers, and a temperature of 55 degrees to 60 degrees Fahrenheit suits them well. A moderately humid atmosphere and generous supplies of water, the soil must be porous and well drained, are necessary. Feeding with liquid fertilizer at weekly intervals promotes good growth of specimens when their roots have filled their containers. To encourage bushy growth, shoots must be pinched back from time to time. Collinia elegans, C. Neanth, corn plant, C. Dracana fragrans messengiana, creeping fig, croton, Cryptanthus bivitatus minor is a small bromeliad ideal for planting in bowls or dish gardens, as it provides a contrast in height and form. The leaves, 3 to 6 inches long, are striped longitudinally in pale and medium green, have crinkled edges, and form a flat, star-shaped rosette. When moved to a light position, the leaves become richly suffused with pale pink and deep maroon. This process can be reversed by putting the plant in a dark or shady place. The plant will survive for a long time without water. Ideally, keep the soil just moist in the summer and keep on the dry side in winter. Stock is easily increased by removing the potting of the side shoots that appear after flowering. When a side shoot measures about 1.5 inches in diameter, remove it by tugging the tip of its lowest leaf. C. bromelioides tricolor is perhaps the most popular in all cryptanthuses for its grace and coloring. A star-shaped rosette is formed by the graceful arching leaves, which are 1 inch wide and 6 to 10 inches long, colored cream with narrow green longitudinal stripes. They become richly suffused with bright pink at the edges and base in good light and spring and summer. Should the leaves turn brown at the edges, remove the affected area carefully with scissors. The plant prefers warmth, ideally 60 degrees Fahrenheit, but it will tolerate small variations in temperature and survive for long periods without water. However, for the best results, keep the soil moderately moist and keep and the plant in light position. There are several other kinds of cryptanthesis, all need care. Cyclamen. Cyclamen with flowers of white, pink, and red, grown and brought into bloom in greenhouses, may be used as temporary houseplants in winter and spring. Most houses are too warm and dry for them to remain in good condition long, but under exceptional circumstances, for instance in a bright window in a cool room where the air is not too dry, they may remain attractive for a month or two. After flowering is finished, these plants are of no further use. They need light shade from strong sun and plenty of water. Devil's ivy, Dieffenbachia dumbcane. Dieffenbachias are severely irritating to mucous membranes, and their leaves or stems should not be chewed or eaten. An old legend says that chewing the plant causes dumbness for several days, and that it was given to slaves as a punishment. Dieffenbachia amoenia forms a good freestanding specimen, with large, nearly oblong leaves, varying from 6 to 10 inches in width and from 14 to 20 inches in length, and branching alternately from a thick stem. The medium green leaves have irregular yellow and cream markings along the lines of the lateral veins. This species is tougher than other Dieffenbachias. It will withstand temperatures down to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, although it grows better under warmer conditions. Like other Dieffenbachias, this plant prefers humidity and warmth to maintain growth. It will shed its lower leaves from time to time with age, but this loss is more than compensated by the production of new leaves at the top. D. picta requires warmth and moderately high humidity. Provide a minimum temperature of 60 degrees Fahrenheit and a semi-shaded or shaded position. Lance-shaped leaves grow from a thick stem or trunk. The dark green leaves, about 6 inches wide and 12 inches long, have cream markings between the side veins, which form an almost completely cream area towards the center vein. The bottom leaves will turn yellow and fall off naturally, but it will be compensated by growth at the top, making an interesting tree-like plant. There are many varieties of D. picta. Some of the best are D. p. baraciniana, which has a strong white midrib and a few white spots on its leaves. D. p. genmani, with ivory white diagonal bands marking its leaves, and D. p. Rudolph Roers, which has chartreuse leaves with dark midribs and blotches of ivory white. So that's this picture here. Dumbcane, Dieffenbachia amoena. D. seguin is a vigorous species with dark green leaves marked with prominent midribs and depressed veins. It requires the same growing conditions as D. picta, but its varieties are more commonly grown than D. seguin itself. Chief among these are D. s. decora, with its leaves marked with clear white spots and its leaf stalks white, and D. s. irorata, which has white leaf stalks and yellow-green leaves with darker blotchings. Maybe I'll stop there for now. I'll mark this paragraph here. If I can keep the book open. Hold on. Okay. So I'll continue reading that next time I read this book at Dracaena Terminalis Tricolor. Start there. Okay. that's it for today. Hope it helped you fall asleep a little bit. That was from A Complete Book of the Garden. So yeah, thank you for watching my videos. Hope it helped you fall asleep a little bit. And thank you for subscribing and liking the videos and